your darkest night. Hold on to the light, and please know, oh, you got the victory. In my heart, I got the victory. On my job, I got it. In my family, I got the victory. In my relationship, I got it. I got the victory. When I pray every day, I got the victory. When I walk what I talk, when I practice, what I preach. When I trust in God, I got it, I got it, I
Good morning, heart and soul. So we are truly welcome to those of you at home or wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in, for logging on, for paying attention, for supporting us as well. So we are truly, heart and soul has claimed and been living this adventure in faith for a few years now. It's a conscious awareness. I mean, life just lifes. What we're saying is that the way life is showing up, we are recording as an adventure in faith. So rather than falling out in fetal position, we're like, oh, this is an adventure. Yes? Okay, this group over here is. We got work to do over here, yes? And those of you who are tuning in, I know you got it, this notion of an adventure in faith. And so, heart and soul, we believe that it is our calling and responsibility to support you, us, each other in standing in a way that is rooted and yet flexible. Does that make sense? So here's the thing, that I don't know that any of us were necessarily raised in a way, taught in school or at home or in after-school programs in a way to do that. So it's not too late. What I want you to know is that all of our offerings dovetail in a way to support that if you participate. I don't know if you heard me, because it's conditional. It's propositional. If you participate, then if you get in there and you do the work, you then have the amazing benefit of it. Yes? So we have a lineup of goodies, and I want to share them with you because you wouldn't necessarily look at the Imagining Justice every Wednesday program and say, oh my goodness, that's being offered for my edification and my evolution, and to ensure that I have the support I need in standing in a rooted way and yet be flexible. You wouldn't necessarily automatically recognize it, and that's why I'm here. So, what I want you to know is that every first Wednesday, Imagining Justice is having a community conversation about the book Freedom from Discord. Yes? Yes. And can I just tell them that next month, Reverend Dr. David Alexander will be with them. So he's the author of the book. They've been talking about his work. He will be there to support this. to lead the charge, if you will. Every week they have something that supports this. So on this coming Wednesday, they have their Women's History Month Poetry Night. Yeah? Life has to have some poetry in it. Life has to have some art, some creativity. If you're missing that, you got to get in on this. Yes? So look, then on the third Wednesday, they're doing somatics, a path to wholeness. You got to be there. And then they are revisiting this notion of apartheid-free communities. And now there'll be a dialogue around that. All of this is dovetailing to our intention to expand our consciousness, to live more fully, to know that this is an adventure in faith and that we are killing the game. Yes? All right. Yes? Y'all at home? Yeah? Okay, get in here. Look, we just, some of us moved the clock forward. Some of us, you will see this on the video because you slept through it. And it's all right. But look, what I'm invoking is this notion of springing forward. Keep that going. Spring into the fullness of life, into the wonderment of your life. Yes? Use it. You know, you got to do it anyhow. Use it and just use that as a reminder. Every time you go, oh, that's right, the time has changed. When you look out and it's darker sooner or it's brighter, however that is working, whatever it is, when it comes to you, say, oh, and I am springing into the fullness of my life. Yes. Yes. Look, also starting tomorrow, we are, if you enroll, remember you got to get in there in order to have the benefit of this. If you enroll, we begin tomorrow our 10 days of celebrating the power, wisdom, and resilience of the divine feminine in times like these. So that begins tomorrow. I have one of the 10 days. You'll hear my voice in there, but you'll only hear it if you get in there. I'm telling you. The family game night. Now, your immediate first thought might be family game night? What does that have? If you're not having no fun, you're not living right. And I don't know, pardon me. You know, during COVID, as we were required to isolate, well, we weren't required to isolate, but it turned into that for many of us, a form of isolation and separation. That was not the assignment. And so for some folks, they no longer have a natural, dare I say, inclination for fun, for getting with folks just for fun. This could support that. Can you see that I'm stringing pearls for you right now? Yes. So if you get in there for the family fun night, that family game night, you can begin to add that. And for the one who has fun and brings joy into their life, it means that they take that into the world. And their living begins to transform into a life that's more like the life that they're affirming for themselves. Yes? Yes, so you're invited. Get in there for the family game night, our path to membership. It's about community. We have built community, and we're inviting you. Come check it out. If you're tuning in, my prayer is that there's something about what we're doing today or did last time or will do next time that engages you where you can see yourself participating in this. Yes? Now, look, here's a call out. If you're already a member, I'm inviting you to still tune in, to refreshen your awareness of membership, of being in community. Yeah? To recommit. Yes? Okay, so that happens on Saturday, March 22nd. It's from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And somebody asked me, why is it so long? I'm just telling you, get in there so that you can see that it really isn't that long. It just sounds like it when you sit up and look at the time. But don't miss out on something good because the timeline looks like it may be too long. Get in there and get the good stuff that we are offering you, yes? By the way, you know, going to Bali with me in September, we have there are 4 or 5 spaces left. So get in there if that appeals to you, if you know that being in the world and seeing something other than what's here firsthand, rather than hearing about how it is elsewhere, consider that. I offer you that. The class, Principles for Successful Living, 8 Thursdays, April 3rd through May 22nd. This is where we're inviting you to ground yourself in this idea of personal success and also grounding yourself in divine guidance and the power of that. Yes? So look, it's $200 is the tuition. Do not let that number stop you. If, as I said, 200, if you went, don't let that stop you. Write in to, what's the email? Okay. Oh, is the email on there? Adult education at heartsoulcenter.org. So work it out. If you want to work out, there are payments, there are payment plans. But if you need an exception beyond that, then write in and talk to us about that. It is more important for us, for these times, for you to be in there and get some of this on you and in you than it is to collect all, pardon me, than it is to collect all the money at one time. Hear me very clearly. Sometimes there are those heart and soulers who have taken the class or know they are not available, but they will pay towards someone else's tuition. So don't miss out. Don't hang out in the cut and then miss out and there was money available or there was a way to work it. I hope I'm making myself clear. We want us all to be prepared for whatever changes we have to make. You see what I'm saying? When I look over there and say, look, we got to go. I want to look up and have somebody say, okay, I'm getting the stuff we need. Rather than go, where are we going? See, I'm going to need the community to have a sense of that we are already ready to make the moves that need to be made, to make the kind of contribution that we're called to make. Lord, I hope this is making sense to you because I need you in the game. If there are those in your life or you come across folks in your life who are afraid with an immigration sense of this, for folks who are LGBT, there's a slide that refers you to organizations who can support the process. This is where we let go of ignorance and we just keep repeating whatever we heard. This is where we refer folks to folks who have the information. This is where we got a gift of the red cards. I was talking to you last week about the red cards and we were going to print them out. We were inviting you to print them out. Still print them out. If you can't get here to get some that are right in the foyer. So the red card is on one side. It's simply telling you what to do. Do not just open the door. Do not talk to immigration officials unless you understand your rights. And your right is to say, here, read this card. You have the right to give them the card which says, I'm standing in my rights. I don't have to have citizenship to have the right. So you're sharing the card so that folks can be safe. And even if they're never challenged, they have a sense of safety because what? It's in their pocket. They know they have it if they need it. Y'all, we can make a difference. And I'm insisting that we do so. Yes? I thought y'all were going to be with me. All right, that sounds more like folks who are with me. Okay. Okay, so we got the cards. Look, today is, well, dare I say, a part 2. There are those who have said, if you anything, girl, you are a serial preacher. So this is our part 2 from last week, where we're lifting up sisters of all ethnicities. Let me just be clear, just sisters in Women's History Month, who are using their voice to speak truth to power, to remind us of what time it is on our planet at this time, Some could say, as Brannis has, that they are singing. Sing, sister, sing. Just say what it is that needs to be said. Brannis wrote a song entitled Sing, Sister, Sing. And part of the lyric is tell the world about the song that's in your heart. The time has come to make your voice the voice for souls in need. The song you sing for all of us is the very song we need. I bring you Brannis McKenzie and Thomas Hughes.
When I was a little girl, there was a voice inside of me that told me the story that would be my journey indeed. I didn't know that I would grow to be the girl in this very special world where I hear sing, sister, sing. Tell the world about the girl that you are. Sing, sister, sing. Tell the world about the song that's in your heart. Inside me, the war goes on, the battle of you and me, and everything that goes wrong. Yet and still I feel this force that lets me know that somehow I'm still on course. I didn't know that I would grow to be the girl in this very special world when I hear sing, sister, sing. Tell the world about the woman you are. Sing, sister, sing. Tell the world about the song that's in your heart. Why don't you sing? Come on, let's sing who you are. Ooh. Oh, sing about the song that's in your heart. The time has come to make your voice the voice for souls in need. The song you sing for all of us is the very song we need. Is the very song we need. Very song we need.
Thank you. See, this is why you need to get in here, because you have no idea what's really happening in the room. Bless my heart. Only I would be inviting people in to see me make a mess of stuff. So I love that. Thank you, Brannis McKenzie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Thomas Hughes. Sing, sister, sing. And it's not always with musical accompaniment. It really is a call to lift up your voice, to be heard, to say what's so, to say what needs to be said. So on this adventure in faith where we are declaring that the way that we are living is from the inside out. This isn't just getting folks told. This isn't just arbitrarily opening mouth and watching to see what happens. This is instead this conscious and intentional commitment to a world that works for all. And then living and speaking from that vantage point. Now, look, let me be very clear. This is not a mountaintop ministry, a mountaintop preaching. This is not me saying, y'all need to do like I do. Please don't. This is, but I could say, be like I endeavor to be. Come do the work that I am busy doing. Y'all have seen me fall down and struggle to get up, but let me just say, there's some scene in the review of that where I get up. Now, we could entertain ourselves with, really, why was she down there that long? Or we could just cut to the part that says, and she got up. And that's what I want for us, is that we know that whatever is happening, whatever happens to us, with us, around us, that we know that we are resilient and that we have whatever it takes to get up. And I don't know that there are any extra points for trying to get up by yourself. I need you to hear that. There are no extra points for you staying down longer because you didn't just ask, help! Fallen, not sure I can get up on my own without injuring myself further. Help. Because if you think about it, there's something good for the one who is helping. You could be costing someone their blessing by your refusal to allow them to support your healing, your shift. Does this make sense? Yeah. Look. So, I love this because tomorrow, and I'm expanding it to today, is Harriet Tubman Day. You better ask somebody. Yes, it's Harriet Tubman Day. And she is noted to, and I say noted because, it's not like we have her on tape. and can absolutely vet that what folks say she said, she said. So we're going to take it with a grain of salt, but we're going to enjoy every bit of this little salty treat. It's noted that she has said that I had reasoned this out in my mind. Now, as I read this, I'm saying, Harriet didn't say this. But this might have been the essence of it. Mother Harriet, I'm just like, this is the essence of what no doubt she meant when she said something. But I'm just clear that she did not say, I had reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of two things I had right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. She's known to have said to escapees who considered turning back, you'll be free or die. There are those here who go on record saying she absolutely, Mother Harriet said that one though, yeah. So look, we have, Reverend Jack and I often talk about, and there's a little section in my book as well, where we lift up allies, advocates, and co-conspirators. And it's our way of reminding us that we're in this together, that none of us has the whole game to ourselves, so we are just doing it all and don't need nobody. And for every movement, there have been those folks who did not look like the folks who required the movement, who were supporting it. They were either sending money, or often they were right in there on the front line. If it was a boycott, it wasn't that they needed personally whatever it was that the boycott was working towards. It was that they knew that their life would only work in the way that they wanted or were committed to their life working if they got in there and participated on behalf of others. So there are always allies and advocates up the game. Allies support, advocates bring something else. Co-conspirators are all up in the mix. So last week when we even saw the video, so if you weren't here, go back and because it's on YouTube. And not only that, but subscribe when you get to YouTube. When you get there, I'm inviting you to go there and get the content, but also subscribe. Hit that little bell and get in there with that. Yes? Yes. So here, the video is of Jane Fonda. It's just a short little excerpt from her SAG address, where frankly, to me, she wore it out. She stood as co-conspirator. Well, her life has stood as evidence of her co-conspiracy and her commitment. But this little excerpt just really gets us to what she's talking about. She reminds us that right now, for an actor, she said, this is a documentary moment. This is a documentary moment. She said, would you have been brave enough to walk the bridge? She asked, would you have been able to take the hoses and the batons and the dogs? She said, we don't have to wonder anymore because we are in our documentary moment. This is it. It's not a rehearsal. This is it. She says it's big time serious. Let's be brave. Oh. She also says to us not to isolate, to stay in community. Our path to membership experience is an invitation to community. Don't isolate. Don't feel like the world is against you and you have to, Get in here so that we all can have this shared experience. She says we must help the vulnerable. You can't do it all by yourself. For them, we want to project an inspiring vision of the future, one that is beckoning and welcoming. And she reminds us that we can be and do this. We must be brave. And she ends by saying, let's make it so. I talked also last week about Ella Baker, who was way before Jane Fonda, but her life gives us evidence of this intention to make it so. She did all the work under some of the most difficult circumstances and just stayed the course. She could see that the sing, sister, sing. Do the work no matter what. Share the vision. Keep it going. She said the major job was getting people to understand that they had something within their power that they could use. Y'all, I could say, my words. She said it like me throwing my voice. Because every Sunday I'm here. If I'm teaching a class, if I'm doing a workshop, if I'm writing a column, whatever it is, I recognize the difficulty of getting us to believe that we have the power. Where else is the power? Certainly there's divine power, but look at here. We're not, unless we're expecting stuff to fly through the room and stuff to change, it's always the change happens through people. There's divine energy, there's divine wisdom, there's divine activity, and it's always through people. And you know this because every one of you at some point say, oh, look at God. And it had me call you, had you call me, had you give me this, had me give you that. Don't play with me. Don't act like you don't know. This is not the time to abandon our awareness and pretend like we're alone. This ain't that. So look, I also, in introducing or in sharing, not introducing, because y'all knew Ella Baker before I start talking about her, but I was sharing about the relationship that she had with Fannie Lou Hamer and how she really was seen as a mentor. Fannie Lou Hamer held her as a mentor. So these sisters were the ones who were making it so, doing the work. So I'm going to talk some today about, I want to honor that what Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer represent to me is the solidarity. You know, it wouldn't be new to you that often in a misogynistic society that women are often held and criticized in ways that are intended to strip our power. So a thing that I heard growing up is how women gossip. And I believed it. I believed that was assigned to gender. Until I had male friends. And I thought, well, the real on this is that everybody gossip. And there are those of you, of course, who I aspire to be more like. And you don't, but the rest of us, we just in the pool, all the rest of us, other than the two of y'all, are in there gossiping. Saying stuff that we don't know whether it's true or not and all of that. But it's assigned to women like it's a condition. And there are other things that are assigned to women, and especially if they're women who are moving and grooving in the world, then there's a whole list of adjectives that are reserved for women who have found their voice and are powerful. And so these sisters operated at the top of their game through all of that in solidarity. Because part of the mythology about women is that we can't work together. Now, it is so uncorroborated. I mean, it's just like, what can we say about them? Because there's not a time historically that I have ever, I'm not a historian, but I've had access in my travels. There are always women killing the game, bringing it together for the people. Now, often they are hidden in the background, and sometimes they are stripped and crossed off of the hieroglyphics on the wall. You see where they have tried to destroy having that be part of the story. But what we know is that it is true, and these two sisters, Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer, worked together and engaged everyone in moving forward. Yes, I just want that to be the foundation of how we do this. So Fannie Lou Hamer, who was born in 1917, and she passed in 1977. I should just say, for contrast here, so you have a sense, Ella Baker was born in 1903. Okay? So Fannie Lou Hamer was a sharecropper and civil rights activist who worked with SNCC in Mississippi. And this is how you can see that she and Ella Baker was part of the founding of SNCC, okay? Hamer was known for powerful speeches and her ability to inspire people to act. So much so, I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. She advocated for voting rights and she played a vital role in the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. In 1964, she challenged the Democratic National Convention because of their all-white delegation because they seated an all-white delegation from Mississippi. Baker mentored Hamer, as I said, helping her to develop her skills as an organizer and a speaker. Now, often, she was a force to be reckoned with. And often when you start with somebody who was a sharecropper and had minimal education, and it wouldn't matter if you said minimal education, if you were talking about when she was a child in Mississippi, you don't even have to quantify how much education it was because they ensured that it would be inferior. That was the game. So no matter how much she had, and she had very little, but was so powerful. She mobilized volunteers across the country to help register voters in Mississippi, and especially during the Freedom Summer of 1964. She was responsible for the iconic phrase, "I am sick and tired of being sick and tired." So let me just go there, because there's so much to say about Fannie Lou. I'm going to ask you to Google and just get in there yourself. I want to hit a couple of high notes, though, about her. And one is that reference to how she became well known as a good speaker, as a powerful, empowering speaker. So look, she is speaking, and it's recorded at the Democratic Convention. And she is telling her story. And before she speaks, Dr. Martin Luther King, I'm sorry, you know what? I have a video. Let's do the video, please. Because that will help me to frame this.
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live at 626 East Lafayette Street, Rooseville, Mississippi. Sunflower County, the home of Senator James O. Eastland and Senator Stinnett. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen, highway patrolmen, and they only allowed 2 of us in to take the literacy test at the time. After we had taken this test and started back to Rooseville, we was held up by the city police and the state highway patrolmen and carried back to Indianola, where the bus driver was charged that day with driving a bus the wrong color. After we paid the fine among us, we continued on to Rooseville, and Reverend Jeff Sonny carried me 4 miles in the rural area where I had worked as a timekeeper and sharecropper for 18 years. I was met there by my children that told me the plantation owner was angry because I had gone down, tried to register. After they told me, my husband came and said the plantation owner was raising Cain because I had tried to register. And before he quit talking, the plantation owner came and said, "Fannie Lou, do you know, did Pap tell you what I said?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, I mean that if you don't go down and withdraw your registration, you will have to leave. That then if you go down and withdraw, that you still might have to go because we are not ready for that in Mississippi. And I addressed him and told him that I didn't try to register for you. I tried to register for myself. I had to leave that same night. All of this is on account of we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hook because our lives be threatened daily, because we want to live as decent human beings in America? Thank you.
So that's Fannie Lou Hamer singing, Sister Sing. And she sang, by the way. We should note that. She has if you Google that or go on YouTube, you will, you could spend the day listening to her sing spirituals, and just, you can feel from whence cometh her strength and her resolve. So what kind of a bit of the backstory in that is, so she's speaking there at the Democratic National Convention, and they are objecting to an all-white coalition being seated. And so there were others who spoke. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke. But there was someone who literally said that Lyndon Johnson, president at the time, was not afraid of Martin Luther King Jr. speaking, but he was afraid of Fannie Lou Hamer speaking, because he knew she was going to tell the whole truth and move people. So what he did was he preempted, as she got, that was not televised live. She started speaking, and he preempted it with a press conference. A press conference that they thought he was going to announce his vice presidential candidate, but he talked about something in the past. It was a nothing burger. Y'all understand nothing burger? He got up there. Clearly, his intention was to simply interrupt the momentum. So he did. But of course, because it was recorded and was going to be featured on television later, it really backfired, because people didn't hear it in the moment, and they got to hear what they missed. And so it really moved forward. What she says at some point, she says, what I really feel is necessary is that the black people in this country will have to upset this apple cart. She says, we can no longer ignore the fact that America is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. Now, on January 4th of this year, President Biden presented a posthumous award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, to honor her contributions to the civil rights movement. Yeah. Sing, sister, sing is this call for all of us to use our voice for empowerment, for the greater good. So Susan L. Taylor, who is my dear, dear sister, has said that she has, we know her, of course, to a person as the editor-in-chief emerita of Essence magazine, where she served for decades. And then she founded, even while there, the CARES mentoring movement. And so now she's the founder and CEO of CARES. And she has expressed that there's an even broader vision in what she's doing in CARES. And I'm linking it to this idea that Fannie Lou Hamer, you can, when I speak, you can just watch my mind work if you were so, don't nobody want to do that though, yeah. So, all I'm saying is just this link between these two concepts. So my sister Susan says that this even broader vision is America the Beautiful. She says we sing it, we say it, and we want it to be true. And we want it, she says, I want it to come from the heart because we're living it. You know, not just saying America the Beautiful aspirationally, but living in a way that we are breathing life into that. She says we can't live and be America the Beautiful when we have a third of black children living in poverty. When 1 in 7 of all children live in poverty. That's not America the Beautiful. She says when a person doesn't have access to education in today's economy, they are denied a way to take care of themselves and their families well. Education is the barrier, and we can change that. Notice how she doesn't say, and I am changing that, or that CARES will change that. She says we can change that. So look, when I took time earlier to say, here's what we're up to at Heart and Soul, come be a part of it, is because we have work to do. There's a calling on our lives that we will not be able to answer if we don't do it from the inside out. So there is work for us to engage in, our own healing, expanding our awareness, finding ways, excuse me, to address it, ways to be in principles of successful living. We find an opportunity to get still enough to realize the truth of our being, thereby empowering us to stand in a different way, to know something more about who I am and whose I am and what that means. Does this make sense? Okay. So Susan is when she's saying we can do this, and that's her work. I know her well. We know her. Her National Cares has is in over 58 cities where their programmatic work is devoted to this effort. CARES is helping our young ones to override the disparities in education. She says that the first step and goal of her sense of America the Beautiful is that we don't talk about poverty. We don't talk about race. We don't talk about what African Americans did to create the wealth of the Western Hemisphere. She says we don't talk about the disparity in education. What we do is we blame and we shame. And she says to her, the most important word in our language is understanding. Understanding. If we understand what African Americans have suffered through, what we lost is indescribable. She says we were taken by force from our homeland in chains. We suffered brutality beyond the telling, enslavement over 250 years, our free labor that built the wealth of the Western Hemisphere. If we understand what white Americans were fleeing from in Europe, we can understand their propensity to take and to build. But to justify the brutality rendered against the indigenous people and African people, the idea that we were less than, that we were inhuman, was adopted to ease the consciousness. She says that belief persists today without blaming and shaming. These are the discussions that must be had so America can heal and thrive. Sing, sister, sing, which we cannot with so much greed, and marginalization. She says understanding moves the spirit to wisdom and love, the possibility for healing. She invites us to work toward becoming what we all want in our hearts: peace, joy, a way forward for ourselves and our families and the greater community. This is why I invite you to be in community, to be with like-minded, like-hearted folks in a commitment to do the work to make the kind of changes in ourselves that must show up in our world. That must. You see, our challenge is we want it to show up in our world before we have changed. And can we not know right away that you can't live in a world that you aren't a part of creating? That your consciousness hasn't already held. Does that make sense? So even if there are places that have already worked it out, do you know you can't live there? Because you're not a mental, emotional, spiritual equivalent to it. You could move there once you find the place, but you're not going to be happy there because it's not a match for your consciousness. So our work is to up-level our consciousness so that we draw to us the kind of world we want to live in, the way we want to be. Yes? Susan says, America the Beautiful is the example that the rest of the world needs. And she says to us, let's link arms and aims and step toward it. You know, our opportunity is to begin the process, whatever that process is, of moving forward towards all that we dream of. And I want you to know that I wish you well. I wish you freedom to do the things you love. Want to wish you blessings and kindness from above. Want to wish you sunlight through the clouds. I hope you laugh out loud as we create a world that works for all. Thank you, Brannis McKenzie and Thomas Hughes.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you so much. I wish you flowers, sunshine, and smiles. I wish you children that grow to make you proud. I wish you pretty things to wear, sweet things to smell. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you good friends that always treat you fair. Wanna wish you ribbons to tie around your hair. I wish you truckloads of cheer and many happy years. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you freedom to do the things you love. Wanna wish you blessings and kindness from above. Wanna wish you sunlight through the clouds. I hope you laugh out loud. I wish you well. Come on, y'all. I wish you well. I wish you well. wish you freedom to do the things you love. Wanna wish your blessings and kindness from above. Wanna wish you sunlight through the clouds. And I hope you laugh out loud. I wish you well. Come on and sing along now. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. Look in somebody's eyes and say, I wish you well. Yeah, I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. One more time. I wish you well. Yeah, I wish you well. Yeah, I wish you well.